Hello, I'm Marcy Payne, licensed therapist in Missouri and a self-love coach worldwide. In this video, I am going to be sharing the 4 key steps to finding a therapist that is right for you. If you have decided that you want some support to heal something from the past or to help you change or shift something in the present, sometimes finding a therapist can be overwhelming and frustrating. Whether you live in a city that is populated with a lot of therapists, but when you start calling them, a lot of them don't call you back, and that can be really frustrating. So instead of just scheduling with the first person that calls you back, I'm going to walk you through what I would do if I was looking to find a therapist that I felt like was the right fit for me. So first, I will walk you through identifying your personal preferences and your therapy budget, and then help you know where to begin your search for a therapist. And then next, begin a conversation with just a few therapists. And then lastly, I will share 2 questions that I feel like if you ask yourself after you have some conversations with therapists, these 2 questions, it's going to help you get a lot clearer on who you feel is the right fit for you. Because the truth is there are a lot of different people and a lot of different kinds of therapists, and not everyone is going to feel like a great fit. So the reason I don't recommend scheduling with the very first person that calls you back is because choosing a therapist that is right for you is really a personal decision. So your search really needs to begin within. So how do you do that? Well, identify your personal preferences, and this can include whatever is important to you. But here are some of the things that you might consider. So first, what type of counseling are you looking for? Are you looking for something for yourself? So that's individual counseling. Are you looking for something for you and a significant other? That's couples counseling. Or are you looking for counseling with you and one or more family members? So that would be family counseling or family therapy. Next, what hours and days are you available for appointments? Whether you're meeting online or in the person's office, you're going to want to find a therapist that has the same availability that you do. So that's why that's important. And then one thing a lot of people don't think about until they're on the phone talking to a therapist is, what is your monthly budget for therapy? In the United States, the range of therapy costs for an average session, which is 50 minutes, can range anywhere from $100 to $200. It can even be higher than that or even lower than that, but that's the average. So it's quite a big gap in how much therapy can cost. So since you will probably be seeing a therapist more than likely every week at the beginning, it's really good to consider what your monthly budget is for therapy, because that'll be part of your personal preferences. And then nowadays, you can see many therapists offer online and in-office sessions. So what is your preference, though? Where do you prefer to do the sessions? Some people love the convenience of seeing someone online, especially if they work from home. And some people really like to, have the privacy of going to a therapist's office. So just know what your preference is. And then any other preferences that you need to consider about the therapist? Do you have a preference in certain gender, age range, race? Maybe if you're going to the person's office, certain location that you would prefer to drive to. And then the style of the therapist. Do you want someone that's really direct and gives homework? Or do you want someone that is more supportive and helps you really feel heard? So that is just a good place to start with identifying your personal preferences before you do any searching outside of you. And then once you have those personal preferences identified, you get to decide, where am I going to begin to search for a therapist? It used to be really simple. Now, with the age of the internet, and so many therapists have websites, and there's so many places to find therapists. It has become a lot more overwhelming. So I'm hoping that this will help you simplify the process. If you want to or need to use your insurance to help pay for counseling and need to go with a therapist in network, then probably the best place to start would be with your insurance company and looking at their provider list for mental health providers. Those may be online on the insurance website, or you may just be able to call if there's a number on your insurance card for mental health services. And then the insurance company, though, won't be able to give you very much information. So once you get some names of some therapists that are in network, then you're going to want to follow the rest of these steps. And otherwise, if it doesn't matter to you, whether they take your insurance or not, then another great place to start would be thinking about if you have any friends or family that have been to a therapist that they love, and they're either in your state or in your area, then you might ask for recommendations. Otherwise, more than likely, most of you will begin your search online. So you can simply Google therapist near me, counseling near me, or you compare near me or your city or your state with pretty much any words that you might think of. Like if you're going for anxiety, it could be anxiety therapist near me. Or if you want to see someone online, it could be online therapist in Missouri, which is my state, or whatever your state is. Or couples counseling in your city or your zip code. Again, depending on your area, you may pull up a long list of people, or that might be specific enough to help you move on to the next step. But if you are overwhelmed when you Google search because there are so many therapists in your area, then there are some therapist directories where therapists pay to put their information on their directory. And there are many of them nowadays. Psychology Today, Good Therapy, really there's a lot of them. Therapy Den. When you do a Google search, you'll probably pull up the directories before you pull up therapist websites. So just be aware of that. And so on the directories, though, you should be able to see a picture of the therapist if they've posted one, probably list their fee, what insurance they take, if any, who they see, how they help. So hopefully whoever you're looking at is filled out their listing pretty fully so you can get an idea and answer some of your questions before you even decide who to contact. And lastly, there is a really great online directory called Mental Health Match that you put in your zip code, answer 5 questions, and they match you with a therapist. And then I think you either get to then contact that therapist directly if you want to have a conversation with them, or I think they will send, if you ask them to, an email on your behalf. So that is some ideas on where to begin your search. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'd be happy to do my best to answer your questions. So the third step in finding a therapist that is the right fit for you is to begin a conversation with just a few therapists. As you read through the websites of the therapist and or their profiles on the directories, you're going to need to begin to start narrowing down who you want to contact. The idea isn't just to contact everyone to see who has availability, but to get an idea of who feels, who are you resonating with their message, who do you feel drawn to, and who they help or how they help. And then if a therapist offers a free initial phone call or session, then I really encourage you to schedule that. You can usually schedule that directly on their website. And or if they don't offer that, you can email them with your questions, any questions you have, or inquire about their availability. But again, this is step 3. A lot of times people start here. And this is really after you've gone through the first 2 steps. So lastly, how the heck are you going to know if a therapist is the right fit for you? Well, hopefully you're probably already getting an idea based on just even the responsiveness of the therapist to your questions. And hopefully you've either gotten an email response, or you've talked to an office staff, or maybe you've even gotten to talk to the therapist directly yourself over the phone. And during that call or that interaction or after, the 2 questions that I encourage you to ask yourself are, do you feel comfortable talking and opening up to them? So important. And do you feel like they get you and can help you? If you answer yes to both of those questions and the therapist meets most of your personal preferences, then trust yourself. It's time to schedule with with that therapist. So hopefully this was helpful. Always trust yourself, your intuition. If anything feels off, then keep looking. If you guys have any, like I said, any questions about searching for a therapist, I've been a therapist for quite a long time, and the way you look for therapists has changed over the years. So I hope this information is up to date depending on when you're looking. And I will share in the caption some links to therapist matching services and even a link to my website. If you're in Missouri and you feel like we're a good fit, then I do offer a free initial phone call. But really, I just wanted this to be a resource to you. So, because I feel like everyone deserves the right kind of support for them. Take care.